We are so honored today to have folks from Martha Franks Retirement Center with us. We love Martha Franks, and I think it's been, some of y'all have to remind me, it's been 8 or 9 years ago, we took the senior adult choir down to Martha Franks when Trudy Clark, remember Trudy? Trudy lives at Martha Franks in one of the colleges, and the senior adult choir went down to Martha Franks and we sang. We also had lunch with them there at Martha Franks, and then we went to go tour Trudy's home. So we love Martha Franks, and Martha Franks is a blessing to our state, to our community, and we're just very honored and delighted to have representatives from Martha Franks with us here today. We have Ken Wright with us, and Miss Lynn McQueen and Pollyanna Franks. They're going to be sharing with us today. So let's give them a warm and good welcome, shall we?
Thank you, Clay. What a joy it is for us to be able to be with you today. Thank you for the good meal. We enjoyed the meal and the fellowship around the table. And it's always a joy to be able to get back before our senior adult groups and our churches. Let me say on behalf of South Carolina Baptist Ministries on Aging, thank you for the gifts to the cooperative program and also to the Mother's Day offering that you're a part of. Those are very vital to all that we do at our two retirement communities, being Martha Franks in Lawrence and the Thay community in Darlington. And we are blessed indeed as South Carolina Baptists to have these two retirement communities. Thank you for all that you do to make those retirement communities possible. It is very special for us to have two very special ladies today. Lynn McQueen is our marketing director at Martha Franks. A little bit later, she'll have some more to say about Martha Franks. And also, Polly Franks, who is our executive director, is going to come in just a few moments and share with us some humor. Now, you pray for her. She's a little under the weather, but she said she was going to do her best to get through her humorous talk today. I told her yesterday via text, I said, Miss Polly, you know we have three groups that we're going to meet before this week. You need to get better quickly. So please pray for her. At your table, you should find a hymn sheet that has some words to some hymns. And I want us just to sing one verse of each one of these hymns. And we'll kind of be the warm-up act for Miss Polly before she comes. I know it's never fun to ask someone to sing after they've had a good meal. And Clay would never do anything like that, but we're gonna try to get through at least one verse of all these hymns. So let's do that together. We want you guys to come back and sing for us and do a program for us at Martha Franks. And I spoke with Brother Clay about that a little bit earlier today, and he and Lynn are going to work out the details for y'all to come back and share. We'd love to have you come and sing for us. Let's do Down at the Cross. participation. Miss Polly, you come and tell us, she's going to tell you some stories. I think she made a couple of them up to the truth, but she says that some of them are real. You'll have to try to figure out which are real and which are made up.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I came down with this crud on Friday and stayed in bed all weekend. Was hoping that I would be better that I'd sound better than what I sound, but I pray that you'll show me grace and mercy as you listen to all of this. I just had this 6 weeks ago and I totally lost my voice. And my husband was very thankful, he had a week's vacation. But no such luck this time, I still have it, so he still suffers. I am Pollyanna Franks, I'm the executive director at Martha Franks. I say that Tom Turner, the president and CEO of South Carolina Baptist Ministries of the Aging, looked all over the United States for someone with the last name of Franks that had the qualifications to run the organization, and found me in Pennsylvania and recruited me. What's interesting is that my husband's family actually has roots in Greenville, so we could distantly be related to my friends. And I would consider that to be quite an honor. I've been there 5.5 years, and it's been a wonderful experience for me, and I am very thankful that the Lord has called me to serve at Martha Franks. So I have been asked today to talk about aging. Now, I think one of the reasons why Ken has asked me to speak about aging is because I'm aging. And I'm going to be 70 this year, still working. I don't understand how some people can retire so young, like Ken, and the rest of us work till whenever the Lord says we've done enough and calls it quits for us. But I'm still there and plan on, if the Lord's willing, to serve as many years as He calls me to serve there. But I am to talk on aging today, and I'm sure that a number of you are very familiar with the serenity prayer. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Well, I have a new prayer. It's called the senility prayer. God grant me the senility to forget the people I never liked anyway, the good fortune to run into the ones I do, and the eyesight to tell the difference. There are many signs of aging. The one that I am facing is forgetfulness. Kind of like the woman that went to a meeting, and after the meeting, she went to look for her keys. She couldn't find her car keys anywhere. She looked in her purse, her jacket, she looked at the table where she was sitting. Nothing. She thought, the only place that I could have left them is in the car. So she frantically went to the parking lot to find her car, thinking as she was going how many times her husband had warned her about leaving the keys in the car, and how he had scolded her that one day she would leave the keys in the car and the car would be stolen. She could hear his voice all the way to the parking lot. Well, when she got to the parking lot, there was no car. She went to the top floor of the parking lot, no car. The bottom floor, no car. Sure enough, she knew today was the day when his words came true. So she was thinking, what should she do? Which was worse, calling the police and admitting how stupid she was for leaving the keys in the car, or calling her husband and admitting he was finally right? Well, she decided to call the police first. And they came and they took down the necessary information. She told them that the keys had been, that she had left the keys in the car, and my earring is caught on my jacket. And I just broke my earring, that's good. Okay, so she told the police officer that she had left the keys in the car and that it had been stolen, and he put out a bolo. Who knows what a bolo is?
Be on the lookout.
You know what? I didn't know what that was. I had to look that up, if you guys know that. Be on the lookout. So that meant that the police were immediately able to start looking for the car. So after about an hour, the woman decided she had to make that horrible call to her husband. She had put it off as long as she could, but she was tired and she wanted to go home. She knew he was going to be mad. And when he picked up the phone, she said, "Now, honey, before you say anything, I know you're going to be mad, and I'm sorry, but I left the keys in the car, and it's been stolen." Total silence. So she said, "Honey, did you hear what I said? The car has been stolen. I left the keys in the car." Finally, he said, "Are you kidding me? The car has been stolen? How can the car be stolen when I dropped you off?" Now it was her turn to be silent. Embarrassed, she said, "Well, that's really good news. So will you come and get me?" He said, "Sure, as soon as I convince this police officer that I didn't steal your car." Forgetfulness. Or you could be like the woman in Florida who reported that her car had been broken into. She was absolutely hysterical as she explained the situation to the dispatcher. "They've stolen the stereo, the steering wheel, the brake pedal, and even the accelerator." The dispatcher said, "Madam, please stay calm. An officer is on his way." A few minutes later, the officer called back in, said, "Dispatcher, please disregard the prior call. She got in the back seat by mistake." Forgetfulness, it happens to all of us. Like these two ladies that were in their 90s who went for a drive after church. They were both very small in stature and could barely see over the dashboard. As they were cruising along, they came to an intersection. The stoplight was red, but they just went right on through. The woman in the passenger seat thought to herself, "Was that red? No, it couldn't be." After a few more minutes, they came to another intersection, and the light was red again. And again, they went right on through it. This time, the woman in the passenger seat was pretty sure it was red. And so she became nervous and said, "Next time, I'm going to watch very closely and see." So sure enough, at the next intersection, they came to the light was red, and they went right on through it again. She said, "Mildred, did you know we just ran through 3 red lights? You could have killed us." Mildred answered, "Am I driving?" It may not be quite that bad. You know, some of us found love when we were very young, and some were not as lucky or blessed as we are, and they found love much later in life. Jake was 92 and Bess was 89. Both had never been married, so when they fell in love, they decided to have a quick engagement. They were so excited. One day, the engaged couple went to a local pharmacy. Jake ran into the owner and asked, "Do you sell heart medication here?" "Yes, we do." "Well, what about ditcher cream, preparation H, hearing aid batteries, and reading glasses?" "Yes, sir, we sell all of that." "Well, how about wheelchairs, canes, and walkers?" "Yes." By this time, the owner was getting rather curious. Jake says, "Good, I'm glad you sell all those things. I'm getting ready to marry this lovely young lady here, and we would like to register to get our wedding gifts." Now, unlike Jake and Bessie, there was another couple who had been married 70 years. They could finish each other's sentences. They knew everything about each other. They shared everything except for this one thing. This woman kept a box, and she told her husband never to look in the box, never to ask about the contents of the box. It was her secret. So her husband, being obedient, never asked about the box for 70 years, never looked inside of the box. Until one day, the woman got very sick, and the doctor said she wouldn't recover. And they decided that it was time for her husband to become aware of the contents of the box. So he went and got the box, and he opened it. And imagine his surprise when he found 2 crocheted dolls and a stack of money totaling $95,000. He just looked at his wife in shock. She said, "Honey, when we got married, my grandmother took me aside and told me the secret of a happy marriage. Never argue with your husband, even if he's dead wrong. Always agree with him and just keep quiet. And every time that happens, you crochet a doll." So the husband thought for a moment, and he thought, 2 dolls in 70 years. That's amazing. I was only wrong twice in 70 years. He said, "Well, honey, that explains the dolls. What about all that money?" She said, "Well, that's from selling all those other dolls." I actually lived in Southern California for 30 years before moving to Pennsylvania for 5 years, and then here in South Carolina. So when I share this story, I was actually talking to my husband yesterday, because this could be my husband telling the story. There was a man walking along the beach in Southern California. They had been married 60 years, and the man was walking along the beach, praying to God, just talking to him, as though he was walking with God. When all of a sudden, there was a loud noise. And the man looked up, and he said, "Lord, please grant me one wish." Then the Lord answered him, and he said, "Because you have been a good man, trying to do my will all of your life, I will grant you this one wish." "What is it?" The man said, "I love visiting Hawaii. I feel so close to you when I'm in Hawaii. So I would like for you to build a bridge from Southern California to Hawaii. So whenever I want to, I can just drive over there." feel close to you. The Lord said, your request is very materialistic. Think of the logistics of that kind of undertaking. The support needs to reach the bottom of the ocean, the concrete and the steel it would take. I can do it, but it is hard for me to justify your desire for worldly things. I would ask that you take some time and think of another wish, a wish you think that would honor and glorify me. Well, the man thought and thought and thought about it for a long time and finally said, well, Lord, I have been married 60 years. I wish that I could understand my wife. I want to know what she feels inside, what she's thinking when she gives me the silent treatment but tells me nothing is wrong, why she cries, and how I can make her truly happy. After a few minutes, God says, do you want 2 or 4 lanes on that bridge? Now, women, I don't know if they're that complex, but certainly there are men that say we are. My mother is 93, and she lives in an assisted living place in Evansville, Indiana, where my brothers and sisters live. And she recently told me that she's really worried about one thing, that all of her friends have died and gone to heaven, and they probably think she hasn't made it by now. On the outside of her door, the question is asked of her, what was your greatest achievement? And her answer was, being the mother of 6 children. Then the next question is, what brings you the greatest joy? Now you would think she would say, being the mother of 6 children, but she didn't say that. The thing that brings her the greatest joy are her grandchildren. Now, I became a grandmother several years ago, and now I totally understand what she means by that. I have 2 grandchildren, a granddaughter, her name's Aurelia, and Aurelia loves watching me put my face on in the morning. One day I was finishing up, and I put my lipstick on, and I said, okay, Grammy's ready to go. And she said, but Grammy, you forgot to kiss the toilet paper goodbye. I never put on lipstick anymore, and I don't think about that. I recently read a story about a grandmother who had taken her granddaughter to a wedding, and right in the middle of the ceremony, the granddaughter says, Grammy, why is the bride dressed in white? And the grandmother answered, because white is the color of happiness, and today is the happiest day of her life, trying to keep her answer simple. The granddaughter didn't miss a beat when she asked, so why is the groom wearing black? When I was home just recently celebrating my mother's 93rd birthday, I found out the story where my great niece just recently got married over Christmas, and my mother was asking her, what are the colors of the wedding? And Lakeland says, black and white. And my mother said, we're going to a funeral, we're going to a wedding. She had never heard of black being a wedding color. So, but I have a grandson named Camilo, and when they were out visiting, we always take them, of course, to Sunday school with us. And the teacher was telling him about Adam and Eve and how God made everything in the garden. And Camp was very intrigued with woman being made from a rib of Adam's. So imagine my surprise one day said, "No, Grammy, I have a pain in my side. I think I'm going to have a wife." They say the most innocent things out of the mouths of babes. But you know, God talks a lot about aging. In Proverbs 16:31, it says, "Gray hair is a glorious crown. It is found in the way of the righteous." Job 12:12 says, "Is not wisdom found among the aged? Does not long life bring understanding?" But my favorite verse, the verse that I have practiced in my 30 years of being in the ministry of serving seniors, is Leviticus 19:32. "Rise in the presence of the aged. Show respect for your elders. Revere your God, for I am the Lord." Growing old has been the greatest surprise of my life, said Billy Graham. All my life I was taught how to die as a Christian, but no one taught me how I ought to live the years before I died. So Billy decided to write his last book and take all the lessons that he learned. His last book is called Nearing Home. And if you have not read that book, it's an amazing book, amazing testimony by Billy Graham. He writes, "The Bible is an oasis for our soul, and the fountain of life is the fear of the Lord." He said in his book, we have two purposes as we grow older. The first is we need to get our house in order so the kids don't have to. And the second is to train the younger generation. In Isaiah 46, it says, "We have God's assurance, even to our old age and gray hairs. I am He who will sustain you. I have made you, and I will carry you." This is our strength. These are the words of encouragement. Our Heavenly Father and His Son, Jesus, who sacrificed His life for us, loves us and only asks us to believe and accept this love. I want to close with the story titled, "The Son." A wealthy man and his son loved to collect rare works of art. They had everything in their collection, from Picasso's to Raphael's. They would often sit together and admire the great works of art. When the Vietnam conflict broke out, the son went to war. He was very courageous, but he died in battle while rescuing another soldier. The father was notified and grieved deeply for his only son. About a month later, just before Christmas, there was a knock at the door. A young man stood at the door with a large package in his hands, and he said, "Sir, you don't know me, but I am the soldier for whom your son gave his life. He saved many lives that day, but he was carrying me to safety when he took a bullet in the heart and he died instantly. He often talked about you and your love for art." The young man held out the package. "I know this isn't much. I'm not really a great artist, but I think your son would have wanted you to have this." The father opened the package. It was a portrait of his son, painted by this young man. He stared in awe at the way the soldier had captured the personality of his son in the painting. The father was so drawn to his eyes that his own eyes welled up in tears. He thanked the young man and offered to pay for the picture. "Oh no, sir, I could never repay. what your son did for me. It is a gift. The father hung the portrait over the bed, and every time visitors came to look at the rare forms of art, he would first show them the portrait of his son. The man died several months later, and there was to be a great auction of his paintings. Many influential people were very excited over the possibility of adding these works of art to their collection. On the platform sat the painting of the sun. The auctioneer pounded his gavel. We will start the bidding with this picture of the sun. Who will bid for this picture? There was silence. Then a voice in the back of the room shouted, "We want to see the famous paintings. Skip this one." But the auctioneer persisted. "Will someone bid for this painting? Who will start the bidding? 100, 200. Another voice shouted angrily, "We didn't come to see this painting. We came to see the Van Goghs, the Rembrandts. Get on with the real bids." But still the auctioneer continued, the sun, who will take the sun?" Finally a voice came from way back of the room. It was the longtime gardener of the man and his son. "I'll give $10 for the painting, because that is all I have. That is all I can afford." "We have 10. Who will bid 20? Give it to him for 10. Let's see that, masters." $10 is the bid. Will someone bid 20? The crowd was becoming angry. They didn't want the picture of the sun. They wanted the more worthy investments for their collections. The auctioneer pounded the gavel, going once, twice, sold for $10. A man sitting in the second row shouted, "Now let's get on with the collection." The auctioneer laid down his gavel. "I'm sorry, the auction is over." "What about all the masters?" "I am sorry, when I was called to conduct this auction, I was told there was a secret stipulation in the will. I was not allowed to reveal that. Only the painting of the sun would be auctioned. Whoever bought that painting would inherit the entire estate, including the paintings. The man who took the sun gets everything." God gave his son 2,000 years ago to die on that cruel cross. Much like the auctioneer, the message today is, the son, who will take the sun? Because you see, whoever takes the sun gets everything. Thank you.
As we just finish up, I have just a couple things I'd like to share with you about what is happening at Martha Frank's. These last 4 to 5 years, we've been doing a lot here on the campus, just for various renovations in our community. And in fact, I'd like to invite you to come and visit with us if you haven't recently. The first thing I'd like to point out for folks too is that at Martha Frank's, we're not a nursing home. We are a retirement community with lots of options and lots of choices there for you. In fact, I have some pictures on the table here for any of you if you've never been on the campus. The campus itself is absolutely beautiful. We have options too. When you look at independent living, there's actually 3 different choices. We have beautiful cottage homes. And in fact, those cottage homes probably range in square footage from about 1,400 to 1,600 or 1,700 square feet. And those are freestanding brick homes. We also have patio homes. And they are we have 2-bedroom patio homes that are about 1,200 square feet. And you'll find those patio homes, they're attached, 4 together like a 4-plex. We also have some 3-bedroom patio homes that actually are over 2,000 square feet. But again, both of those options are very independent living. And we also have garden apartments that are available as well. With our garden apartments, we have alcoves, 1-bedrooms, and even a 2-bedroom apartment where we've kind of converted 2 smaller apartments or joined them together to make a larger apartment. So I just want to remind folks that it is a community that is very active. Our residents who are there, live there, that they're active within the community or even outside of the community in various things that they do, that they stay busy with or traveling. But then we also do have the higher levels of care too. So we do have assisted living, and we also have skilled nursing. So again, it is a full-service continuing care community. And like a lot of our residents and those who are independent, and if they were here talking with you today, they would say, come and enjoy the lifestyle of the community while you are still active. I want to share just a little personal note for me. I have worked in a retirement community setting now for about 35 years. And about 30 of those years was actually spent here in Greenville. I was at one community for right at 20 years, and another community close to about 10. I'll have to tell you what really hit home for me, and being a Baptist all my life, I knew about Martha Franks. But it wasn't until, personally for me, my father was a Baptist minister. In fact, his last full-time pastor was here in Greenville. From there, he did interim work. He was actually at City First Baptist for a number of years. In fact, at 86, he was still on staff there and working with the senior adults. But it was time that my mom and dad began to think about a retirement community. Well, and I certainly knew about the communities here in the area, great, wonderful communities. But I guess I was looking for something that, for my dad, that I knew continuing in ministry was very important to him. So I went and I visited at Martha Franks, and like I said, I knew about it, but when I went on the campus, along with my other siblings and mom and dad, we just felt something different there. And so my mom and dad moved in. I didn't know that about a year and a half after that, I would then have the opportunity to work there. And it has been such a blessing with just the folks that I've met, with our residents who have been there. God has just really blessed on that campus. And just seeing the different things that we've been able to do and accomplish. And I just encourage you, if you haven't been recently, to come and visit with us. And just to share a few things, again, I mentioned that it's a very active community. There are a lot of things that are happening on that campus, and one that I just want to share with you. Again, if you were talking to many of our residents, and I'm sure as you would feel too, that as Christians, we don't retire from being a Christian or from serving or being able to do ministry. And that's what I think a lot of our residents find there at Martha Franks. And let me just give you one example of that. At Martha Franks, we have a Billy Graham call center. And our call center is completely manned by residents. It's all by volunteer. And in fact, this coming May will be 6 years that we've had the Billy Graham call center. And we had one of our residents that came to us and said, I would really like to see us do this. Is there a way we can work this out? So we had to think about, well, where can this call center be? We knew we had to have 8 phone lines, and anyway, it finally developed. We had the local telephone company who said, we'll come in and we'll provide those 8 lines for you. And so in the Billy Graham call center, if any of you, if you still watch the Billy Graham Crusades, how you'll see the 800 number that comes up, those calls are coming to Martha Franks. So in the almost 6 years that we've been doing the call center, there have been well over 2,000 calls that are coming in. When you walk into the call center, you'll see a world map, and they've been trying to pinpoint where all the calls have come from over the years. Also, if you'll look, you'll see that during that time, that there have been, we keep kind of the statistics and the numbers of the calls and where they come from, and those residents have been able to minister and actually witness to over 650 folks that they have led to the Lord. There have been that many salvations just from that call center. And I love to share that because, again, that expresses to me to let you see ministry does continue. We have some residents who are very comfortable to take those calls. Others, maybe they don't want to do that, but they're maybe just part of a prayer group that meets during that time that those calls are coming in. We have services. We have a beautiful chapel on the campus, and we have a chaplain. He and his wife, Dr. Walton Neely and his wife Dawn. They are there. They minister to our residents, to family and staff. So we have those services that are going on regularly. Daily activities from exercise classes to trips and various things that folks can be involved in. So again, I know that today I can only share just a little bit about what's happening at Martha Frank's, but I just encourage you, if you will, come and visit with us again, or if the choir comes, we'd love for you to come, have lunch with us, just meet our residents, and just see what's happening on that campus, just as South Carolina Baptist, to know what's taking place. So again, we appreciate the opportunity just to come and fellowship with you today. Thank you. You do have a little bit of information there. I think some of you came up. You may even notice that couple, Barbara and Lee McCormick, that's on the front of the information that you have there. Dr. McCormick was actually on staff at North Greenville University, and they've been living there with us in one of our homes for a couple of years. But what you'll have there is just kind of an overview about our campus and what's happening. The other thing I wanted to share with you, and they are actually here, I'm not sure if many of you in past years, if you've ever attended the senior day that they do at Connie Maxwell. Well, they have not had those for the last 2 years, but they're going to be having that again this coming October. So there's a little postcard to save the date. If y'all would be interested, that's coming up October the 15th. And I'm just making that announcement because we're going to be helping to sponsor and help support that event for Connie Maxwell. So that'll be a great day if you'd like to go and spend some time, if you've ever been a part of their senior day. So please be sure to get some information. If there's more things that you would like to know about Martha Frank's, please just come to me, and I'd be happy to get more information to you or just talk with you a little bit more about our community. But we thank you for your support, and again, just the opportunity to be here with you today.
Thank you, Lynn. Thank you again for the opportunity to be able to come and share today. These two ladies are very special for a number of reasons, but one is what they do. It's much more than a job. It's a ministry for them as they touch and minister to the lives of seniors. Their desire is for seniors to be able to live out their last days in dignity. And they're working very diligently to see that takes place. It's my privilege to do two things as in my retirement years with Martha Frank's and the South Carolina Baptist Ministers on Aging. That is to get back before our churches doing what we're doing today, and also to do some fundraising. Let me just share very briefly with you one project that I'm working on. We have a need to repaint our chapel. It's a beautiful chapel, but it needs to be repainted. If you've had any painting done at your home lately, you know that it's not cheap. So I'm in the process of trying to raise about $39,000 to repaint that chapel. If you would like to know more about how you can be a part as a church, as individuals, as Sunday school group, whatever, I'll be glad to share with you how you can be a part in helping us. Also, I hope and pray that you will come and visit, take a tour, spend some time with us, and we'd love to have you come. I want to have a word of prayer, and then I'll turn it back over to Brother Steve. Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for your blessings. Thank you for the opportunity to be here at Edwards Road today, be able to share with these precious seniors. I thank you for each one. I thank you for their lives and their ministry. Lord, all that you're doing through them and through this church. I pray for our Brother Clay and the entire staff, that you would bless them as they minister in this field. Lord, as they share the good news of the gospel, we pray, Father, many people would come to know you through the ministries of Edwards Road Baptist Church. Father, thank you again for every way that you bless us, every way that you touch our lives. We give you praise and thanks. In Jesus' name we pray.